So these will be sterilized after the fact.
That's his timer going off. So you don't know if it's overcooking or... So we'll have to wait for Chris to tell us what's the next process.
There.
It's right there.
Ah, of course not. Just there.
So what was that beep for?
It was basically a timer. Tell me how much time I got left.
For...
Well, the boil should be about an hour.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to do... hold on, how much time am I going to go? So essentially, I'm going to let the timer go. Now what we have here is, it's technically known as a immersion heat exchange. What we have is roughly about 25 feet of copper tube.
Okay.
The idea is that we put some cold water in this end. It falls all the way down this tube. And as it goes around this tube, it basically collects the energy, which is the heat, from that kettle, and it turns it into steam and then into water. So it goes through this coil, collects all the heat, takes it out with it, following this tube, which goes outside of the kettle.
Okay.
Now what happens is that all the energy, which is the heat from the kettle, transfers from the liquid to the water that's going through here. And we end up doing two things. We create hot water, which is always nice.
Perfect.
And the second thing was that we cool down this batch. Now we want this cooled down because what we want to do is pitch the yeast in there. Now the yeast, it doesn't like temperatures above, around about 24 degrees Celsius. So we have to cool this down.
Okay.
And we have to cool it down very quickly. So that's why we have this heat exchanger, or immersion coil, or whatever you want to name it. There's quite a few names for it, but
okay.
It's a very simple piece of device. All it is copper tubing.
Perfect.
So what we'll do is we'll give it another 10 minutes, and then we will put this into the liquid. Now the reason we're putting this in the liquid is that we want to sterilize.
Okay.
So for the last 10 minutes of the boil, that's enough time that it'll sterilize this whole thing, and it'll be pretty much like medical boilers.
Okay.
Very safe for bacteria, I guess. Bacteria can't get at it. It's sterile.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do with this.
All right. So I guess after the cleanup, it's gratification time, we call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a theory that if you don't drink beer while making beer,
it's not good beer.
Bad karma. So we always drink during the
cheers.
brewing process.
What a tough job.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, better get Chris is here.
So, put your glass down.
Sure. We better hand the brewmaster his glass like he's the brewmaster. Chris's glass. Thanks for doing that. You're good to your laborers, so he served me first. That was wonderful.
May I point out one thing? This has bugged me from day one. It will continually bug me.
What's that?
The term brewmaster.
It's a good term.
Well, it is a nice term, and I do like it. However,
the later in the day, the greater the king you become, right?
hey,
nice good head on there. Cheers,
as a brewer, I always believe you never master a brewery.
Right.
Because if you're mastering brewing, well, that's like saying you know everything,
Right.
and you don't.
That's
Beer
good.
is.
So what do you think's more, the beer artist or?
That's a good question, and I don't think I have an answer for that. I'd say like I'm a brewer, plain and simple. That's what I do. I make beer. I try to do as good a job as I can, and I try to make something that will be well welcomed by all people. But brewer will do the term.
Cheers to that. Just at the immersion stage here. Is there any hazards in doing this? Temperature exchange or?
Yeah, actually there is.
So if that pipe was too cold, you could potentially have.
Essentially, there's probably some cold air and stuff in here. When I put it into the hot steaming liquid, well, it's going to convert the liquid to steam.
Okay.
And you'll see that steam's going to shoot at one of these two ends.
Oh, I see.
And if you're
Okay.
standing beside it, that can be painful. So we're going to merge that down. Being very careful that we don't actually splash, because, you know, hot liquid, splashing can hurt. And in a few moments here, you're going to see steam coming out. Hopefully. Or it's, you know, splashed. But
Now, is there liquid in that tube right now?
well, no, there's maybe a little bit of residual liquid, which is water, but there's also air, and air will turn to steam pretty darn quickly.
Okay, the camera's picking up a little bit of steam there.
Yeah, a lot of steam. Yeah. This seems to be atypical of filming. Normally when I do this, I have steam shooting out that area, and it almost burns me as soon as I put it in. When it comes to filming, of course,
We can hang tight. Now, are you going to push water through that copper pipe at this point?
I
or
will,
at some
yes.
point? Okay.
Well, in about 10 minutes, which I'm
Okay.
going to set the timer now,
All right.
I will...
So you set that. I see
timer's
that's
going.
your timer and cleanliness seems to be two of the most important factors here.
Well, cleanliness is the biggest issue.
And
Is
timing. Yeah.
if you don't pay attention to cleanliness, you end up with bad beer.
Hold that up. So this is the timer that Chris has been working with all day. He uses this, so we've got 9 minutes 35 seconds. So we'll log out till the next stage. Okay, so we're back on our timer again, living by the timer. Chris is very good with that. So what are we doing next?
Well, first of all, what we're going to do is, that is the end of the boil. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the power to the fuel, so that means the propane. Come back here, cut that. Alright. Now, right now, what we're going to do is we're going to drag over a hose. We're going to attach it to one end, and water's going to come out the other end. So for ease of function, it'll probably be easy to cut. Come back in about 40 seconds.
Okay. Tragedy is struck here. There's always little obstructions in the world of making anything, and we got a broken beer stem here. I'm sorry about that, buddy.
The irony is that the beer glass stayed intact, except that the base